Hi ladies, again, it's me. It's funny because I just did a video. This video is for women who are doing IVF government funding in New Zealand and just what to expect and all the rest of it. And this video is specifically about orientation. So, and I'm talking about a specific kind of orientation, not that other kind of orientation. Orientation is what happens 3 months before you start treatment, and it is all about what to expect when you start treatment. You go in to the fertility clinic and you spend about 3 hours there, and in that time you meet a doctor, a counsellor, a nurse, and the embryologist if they're around, because they're kind of busy people. But so you go into a room, you meet the doctor, you come back to the waiting room. You go in, you meet a counsellor, you go back to the waiting room. Yeah, so you're in and out all day for 3 hours, and it is an exciting time. Be excited about orientation. First appointment sucks, it's difficult. Hopefully yours isn't as bad as mine, but orientation is awesome. So about a month before or 2 weeks before orientation, they will send you out this booklet. Ta-da! And in here is everything you need to know about what's going to happen with IVF. I would recommend that you read this inside out, back to front, read it 2 or 3 times. So when you go into orientation, you can tell those nurses what it's all about. No, I read this thing two or 3 times before we went into orientation, and I don't know if you can see. Sorry, I'm busy washing my sheets, so that's why there's nothing on the bed. I highlighted so many things, and I had written questions that I wanted to ask throughout the booklet, and it just explains everything. And I tell you what, when we went into orientation, the doctor that saw us, lovely, all of them are lovely, lovely doctor, but she was kind of like explaining the stuff to us and blah blah blah, and I would just kind of go, oh, you mean that, and I get that because I've read this part of the book and blah blah blah. All of them were super impressed by the fact that we read the booklet and we took time to understand it, and it made orientation a lot shorter. Like, I think it's usually 3 hours. Ours was 2.5 because I had already read and understood all the stuff, and I've watched like a ton of YouTube videos on it all and everything, all about embryo thawing, what to expect, side effects, risks associated with whatever. It's got one thing that you might be interested in is the statistics of success rates. So I'll explain those. I'll read them to you so you have an idea. Fertility plus clinical pregnancy results. If you are under 36 and having 1 embryo transferred, the chance of a clinical pregnancy with an embryo transfer on day 3 is 33%, and that's up from, so if you're 25 and getting pregnant naturally, you have a 25% chance on any 1 month. I think that's accurate. So this is 33%, so it's quite a bit up. But if you have a chance of a clinical pregnancy with embryo transfer on day 5, it is 50%. So that's great. That's double what it normally is. So what they did with me, for example, is they froze 5 embryos. I think it's 5 or 6 embryos on day 3 and 5 or 6 embryos on day 5. I think it was 5 on day 3 and 6 on day 5. So the day 5 ones are the good ones. They're the best ones. They're the ones that they're going to use first. So that's a 50% chance. If you're over 36, under 36, having 2 embryos transferred, which I'm kind of surprised they would, because the embryos are lower quality, or a woman has had 2 or more transfers without a pregnancy. Okay, so that's the circumstances that they will let you transfer 2 embryos. In New Zealand, if you're under 36, you can only have 1 embryo transferred at a time. No more than that. If you're over 36, then you can request to have 2 or more. So what they're saying is, if you're under 36 you can only have 2 transferred because of low quality of the embryos, or you've had 2 or more transfers without any pregnancy results. So, for 2 embryos transferred under 36, the chance of a pregnancy on day 3 is 34%, so it's only 1% more, and day 5 is 50%, so it's pretty much the same as 1 embryo. Chance of the pregnancy being a twin implantation is only 17%. Okay, ladies 36 to 39 years having 1 embryo transferred, having a clinical pregnancy with embryo transfer on day 2 or 3 is 32%, or having a pregnancy with embryo transfer on day 5 is 37%. So quite a lot lower once you kind of get over that 36-year age, but still higher than natural pregnancy. And then for a woman 36 to 39 with 2 embryos transferred, on day 3 is 31%, and on day 5 is 45%. So that's quite high. That's quite good. But the chance of pregnancy being a twin implantation is 41%. So I think that's why a lot of ladies who are kind of over the 36 have a lot more multiple births than the younger women, is because they're doing 2 embryos at a time. Yeah. So there's things like that in the booklet that are really helpful. There's some other side effects, so it talks about OHSS in there. And yeah, just it's got a glossary of terms and all the rest of it. It's got some pictures of different things. So that's an ovary, in case you're wondering, with all the follicles. So yeah, isn't that exciting? All those little black dots, circle things are follicles. Mine lit up like that. Probably worse than that because of how many follicles I had. So I just finished filming my orientation video, and I felt like, and I've just been editing it, and I felt like I didn't actually talk much about what happens during orientation. So this is, I'm going to add it in here somewhere if I look at my hair looks a bit different or whatever. That is why. So during orientation, like I said, you see the doctor, the nurse, the embryologist, and a counsellor. What the doctor does is she explains the whole process of what your IVF or ICSI treatment is going to be. So they'll tell you there whether you're going to be doing IVF or ICSI or a mixture of both. So that's where we found out that we were going to be doing ICSI. I kind of knew more or less that that's what we were going to have to do, so that's fine. It's really helpful. They show you what it's going to be all about. They don't really talk much about how you do the injections because you don't need to learn that yet. You kind of learn that the day of your injections. That's when they showed us how to do them. The doctor will talk to you all about what the process is going to be and everything like that. Then you go see the counsellor, and the counselling session was really good for us. The counsellor is basically just telling you about what services they have to offer, what things they can help you out with, and also she asked us some really helpful questions just about the journey for us so far, how we've been finding it, and how it's affected our faith. So while I don't know if she was a Christian, and I mean, not that it really matters, but we got to talk about our faith and how it's affected us and stuff, and that was really helpful as well. So the counsellor was really helpful. Then we saw the nurse, and the nurse, she was just lovely. She was definitely the most friendly out of all of them. And again, just a rundown of what is going to happen, what the process looks like, and she gave us our start date. So the month before you start injections, you have to ring the clinic on the first day of your period. So because we started injections in March, I had to ring them on my cycle day 1 in February, and then you go in 21 days after that into your cycle for your injections. So it kind of was just like this real excitement, because I thought we would have to ring in March and maybe only start in April. So the fact that we got to ring in February and start in March was really awesome. And that just got me really excited about the whole process. And then, if you can hear snorting, it's the dog. She snores. She was just really helpful, really excited for us. And then we met the embryologist. the embryologist talked about what they do. She kind of showed us some diagrams of what the cells will look like, what they do when they extract the eggs and stuff like that. They don't really show you any pictures of, you know, them inserting things or anything, but they tell you how it all happens. And yeah, it's just good information really, and they're all really friendly. Have you got any questions, this is your opportunity to ask questions. So another piece of advice I would have is when you go into orientation, write down your questions somewhere, because you kind of get there and you forget everything that you wanted to ask. And I just had a piece of paper that I had written down some questions that I wanted answered, and it just helps to clarify things while you're there. So yeah, I'll fill that in now, because I feel like I didn't really talk much about what happens in each session of orientation, but that's what happens in each one. Hopefully that's been helpful. Orientation is great. It's fun. You're gonna need you and your husband or partner there with you. They want both of you there. It's gonna take most of the day. It's exciting. You know, do something exciting afterwards. You know, whether you go and buy a baby blanket, or you, I don't know, go watch a movie or go out to dinner, but do something to celebrate afterwards, and just be happy and rejoice that you're so close, because in 3 months' time you get to start with injections, and it's, you know, orientation is just the beginning. All the nurses, all the doctors that we met, the embryologist, the counsellor, they were all great and really, really helpful. The counsellor, I would really recommend, if you're really struggling with the injections and stuff, use their counselling service. That's what they're there for, and it's completely free. So orientation's great. If you have any other questions about orientation that I might have missed, or you're like, Mel, you completely forgot about this part, put them in the comments below, and I'll respond. If I need to make another video, I will, adding just some more stuff to the questions that have been asked. Anyway, see you later.